piece of the past. Here, history is not loud, it is a whisper. The candles glow, apartments crinkle, a tale of the past whispered softly to you. This is your sanctuary of soft storytelling, where we wander the quiet corridors of forgotten places. Breathe in the stillness of the centuries and find calm in the echoes of the past. So get cozy, come closer, and let the past whisper to you. Winter was the deadliest season for medieval peasants, with no central heating, limited food stores, and threadbare clothing. Survival required ingenuity, endurance, and community. Tonight, we travel far from the warmth of your room into a world where the cold could kill. Let us embark on a whispered journey through a freezing winter day in the life of a 14th century peasant as they battle the cold from dawn to dusk. A faint wind sighs outside the cottage walls, moves through the thatch like a ghost. The year is 1350. England rests beneath a sheet of winter. The earth is hard, rivers are rimmed with ice. The peasants who work that earth must find a way to endure until spring. Winter was a season of hunger, a season of smoke, silence, and breath that hung white in the dark. No central heating, no electric glow, only the slow living heart of a hearth fire, and the hope that the embers would last till dawn. A crow calls from the frozen hedgerow. A dog stirs in the hay. Inside a single-room cottage, a family sleeps pressed together for warmth. Father, mother, children, and even family pig whose body heat adds a small miracle of life to the chill air. Cold creeps through the walls, through the floor of packed earth. It finds every crack, every seam of wattle and daub. When the wind shifts, the whole house shivers. Somehow, they endure. While nobles retreat behind thick stone and roaring fire, peasants rely on ingenuity, community, faith. That spring will come again. Faith that the salted meat will last. Faith that the wool cloak, patched one time too many, will hold together through one more frost. Imagine waking to darkness so complete that even the coals in the hearth give no light. You can see your breath, but not your own hands. Somewhere in the corner, the bucket of water has turned solid. You listen. A soft crack, a drip, a sigh of wind, and then the faintest sound of a child stirring under the blankets. This is winter in the medieval village, a test not of courage alone, but of patience. Each sunrise measured not by hours, but by how long the firewood will last. Before we step deeper into the day, breathe slowly and picture it with me. A cluster of cottages in a hollow of frost-silvered fields, smoke rising thinly from thatched roofs, cattle huddled under lean-to shelters, their breath curling in the air. Footprints frozen into mud, where yesterday's thaw has hardened again overnight. In one of those cottages lives a family, William, Agnes, and their 3 children. They have survived many winters, none without fear. For each year, someone in the village is claimed by the cold. Body weakens when food runs low. The cough deepens in smoky air. When snow seals the path to the next hamlet, even a small wound can become a death sentence. Yet life goes on. There's bread to bake, and beasts to feed, and wood to gather. For the forest floor bites at every step. The rhythm of survival beats softly, steadily, beneath the frost. Soon we will rise with William at dawn to relight the fire that keeps his family alive. But now, listen. Hear the house breathe. Hear the faint pop of ember beneath ash. Cold presses close, yet something warmer stirs. courage of ordinary souls turn endurance into art. So, our journey begins. From this moment until the coming of night, we will walk beside them, step by step, through a single winter's day. You will hear the cracked vice, feel the weight of wool on weary shoulders, and taste the humble comfort of a wooden bowl potted. So settle in, let the light of your candle flicker. Draw your blanket close, and prepare to step backward through time, through the morning when frost ruled the fields and survival whispered with every breath. Night fades, and dawn waits behind the veil of cold. Come with me softly into the frozen heart of the 14th century. The sky beyond the thatch is still black, but the cold has already entered the room. A faint shimmer of grey filters through the cracks in the shutters. Morning is near. William wakes first, not because he wishes to, because the ache of cold has settled deep in his bones. He can see his breath drifting in the air, a small ghost rising and vanishing above him. The distant rooster calls from the edge of the village. The sound is thin, like a memory. He lies still for a moment, listening. The faint creak of timber, the slow breath of Agnes beside him, quiet sigh of children beneath the heap of blankets and wool. The family sleeps upon a raised wooden platform, a simple frame filled with straw, topped by woven mats and patched blankets. The straw crackles when someone moves. Even in slumber, they huddle close, seeking warmth from one another. Beneath the blankets, William still wears yesterday's clothes, a coarse linen shirt that clings to his chest, woolen hose, and a small nightcap to trap what little heat escapes. There are no soft linens here, no feather beds or silken sheets. Only wool, smoke, and endurance. He moves slowly, keeping the blanket wrapped tight around his shoulders. His feet find the floor, and the shock of cold runs through him like a blade. Packed earth is hard and rimed with frost. He breathes out sharply, his exhale joining the chill mist of morning. In the corner, the hearth waits, a circle of stones and ash at the cottage's heart. Last night's fire has fallen into sleep. Only a handful of embers glow beneath the grey. William kneels. His knees touch cold earth. For a moment, he wonders if the coals still live. With the stick, he shifts the ash. A soft puff of smoke rises, and there, a faint red pulse like the heartbeat of the house itself. Still alive, he whispers. If the fire had died completely, he would need to beg for coals from a neighbor, a task both humbling and perilous in the bitter dark. He gathers kindling, dry twigs from the bundle stacked by the wall, a twist of bird bark that Agnes saved from the last chopping. He places them gently over the embers, then leans close. His breath meets the fire's faint warmth. He blows, slow, careful. The curl of orange unfurls, then another. The coals brighten, crackling softly like whispered laughter. The glow fills the cottage, fragile, alive. Agnes stirs beneath the blankets, her hand reaching instinctively toward the warmth. Children shift in their sleep, faces half hidden by wool. William adds a thicker stick. Flames climb slowly, painting the walls in shades of amber and smoke. The cottage breathes again. Smoke coils toward the hole in the roof, searching for escape. It never finds all of it. A veil of haze always remains, hanging like ghostly linen between rafter and beam. He warms his hands above the fire, turning them until the sting of returning blood feels almost like pain. Then he reaches for two smooth stones near the hearth, cold now, but still faintly warm within. Last night they had been placed beneath the blankets, wrapped in cloth, family's crude but faithful hot water bottles. He sets them near the flame to heat again for the coming night. Behind him, Agnes rises, pulling her cloak tight across her shoulders. Her breath curls silver in the half-light. She kneels beside him and smiles faintly, eyes still soft with sleep. Still burning, she asks. "Aye," he murmurs, "just barely." For a while, they sit in silence, the only sound the gentle crackle of new fire and the faint settling of straw beneath the children's shifting weight. Outside, the first thin light of dawn stretches over the fields. The thatch glitters with frost, and the world is painted in pale blue. In the stillness, a dog barks. Somewhere, a door creaks open, another soul rising to greet the cold. Inside, the smell of smoke begins to fill the air, sharp, woody, familiar. Agnes pulls the pot closer to the rekindled flame, readying it for the day's first meal. The hearth's warmth grows, slowly pushing the shadows back. The cold still clings to every wall, but hope glows now within the heart of the home. The day has begun, and survival begins anew. The first pale light slides through the cracks in the shutters, soft as breath upon skin. The cottage hums with quiet motion. Agnes has risen. Her cloak drapes from her shoulders, edges frayed, but still warm with the scent of smoke. She moves toward the wooden bucket near the door. The rim is rimmed with white. She touches the surface and gasps. The water has frozen solid overnight. A thin shell of ice gleams like glass beneath the dim light. She takes the wooden mallet kept for this task and strikes the surface once. A dull crack splits the silence. Another blow, and the ice yields in jagged pieces, clinking like shards of crystal. She scoops the fragments aside with chilled fingers. They tumble to the earthen floor, melting into small puddles that vanish as quickly as they form. The remaining water stings her hands, so cold it burns. Still, she splashes a bit upon her face. Cleanliness, even in hardship, is kind of dignity. Children begin to stir. Small voices, small coughs from the smoke-filled air. The eldest, boy of 12, sits up first, hair tousled, cheeks red from the chill. He rubs his hands together and looks toward the fire, where the flames have grown strong again. William is stacking more wood beside the hearth. Every log is precious, gathered yesterday from the forest edge, carried home on aching shoulders. Each piece will burn too quickly, yet without them the family would perish. Agnes sets the small iron pot on the stones. It hisses softly as moisture from the night evaporates. Inside she pours the cracked ice and what remains of yesterday's water. The fire licks the underside, and slowly a mist rises, the first warmth of the morning. The cottage brightens. Shadows dance along the wattle walls, and smoke coils lazily toward the open vent above. The smell of wood and earth fills the air, a scent of survival itself. Agnes hums softly while she works. A tune without words, passed down through mothers and daughters. The rhythm keeps her hands steady as she stirs the pot, waiting for the water to warm enough for bread and grain. Behind her, the smallest child, the girl of 5, slips from beneath the blankets. She pads across the floor, bare feet quick upon the cold earth. Agnes lifts her, wraps her in the cloak's fold, and holds her close to her chest. For a moment, the two share warmth, mother and daughter, heartbeat to heartbeat. William glances at them and smiles, then turns his gaze to the shutter. He opens it just a sliver. A rush of cold air sweeps in, and with it, pale blue of morning. Outside, frost clings to the bare branches of the hedgerow. A thin fog drifts low over the field. The fire burned steady now, and with its glow comes the daily ritual, the art of layering against the cold. A faint mist curls upward from the hearth. The family gathers near it, each one preparing for the day ahead. Their movements are slow, deliberate, small ceremony of dressing for survival. In every medieval cottage, clothing was both shield and memory. Each piece, hand-stitched, often mended dozens of times. Threads from old garments rewoven into new ones, nothing wasted, nothing forgotten. William begins first. He pulls his linen undertunic tighter around his body, thin but clean, its surface cool against his skin. Linen is the first defense. It breathes, it wicks the sweat that even cold can bring when labor begins. It keeps the wool above it dry, for wet wool is a silent killer. Over the linen, he draws on his woolen tunic, coarse, heavy, colored a faded brown, once dyed with walnut husks. It smells faintly of smoke, lanolin, the natural oil of sheep. That scent, sharp yet comforting, is the perfume of winter survival. He tightens a belt of leather at his waist. From it hangs a small knife, a tool for a dozen tasks. His hose, woolen and patched at the knees, are bound with strips of cloth. At his feet, simple leather shoes lined with straw, changed daily to stay dry. Agnes dresses next. Her linen chemise falls long to her ankles, its hem stiff from many washings in cold water. Over it, she draws her gown, a garment of rough-spun wool, dyed the faintest green long ago, now softened by years of wear. She ties the cord at her waist, tucking her hand within the folds for warmth. On her shoulders, she drapes a cloak, the same cloak she wore when each of her children were born. Edges are lined with scraps of fur, rabbit and sheep, stitched with uneven care, deep affection. The children dress in miniature versions of their parents, small linen tunics, patched wool hose, and cloaks fastened with wooden pins. The eldest boy wraps his head with a length of cloth, makeshift hood against the wind. The little girl's mittens are sewn from old wool sleeves, her mother's handiwork, each thumb carefully shaped and mismatched. Agnes moves from child to child, adjusting cloaks, tightening cords, smoothing hair with her hands. Every gesture is quiet, love. Every layer, promise that warmth, though fleeting, will not be lost easily. As they dress, the faint crack of ice outside echoes through the walls. The world is still locked in frost, and the pale light has turned the smoke in the air into a haze of silver. In that glow, their figures seem almost ghostly, shapes wrapped in brown and gray, stitched into the fabric of survival itself. Thank you for spending this quiet moment in history with me here at Piece of the Past. If you enjoyed your stay in the candlelight, please subscribe so the next story finds you. Until then, may your nights be calm and your dreams timeless.